So look, my people gonna be mad, but I came outside to see like how this protest is. This protest is about to start in like an hour, right? I just came by where the protest is at. I gotta find somewhere to take a whiz. It's nothing but old white people and veterans. Y'all hear that? Bro, it is nothing but white people. They're pissed. It's motherfuckers who like one dude had a t-shirt. He said, I'm a recovering MAGA supporter. Bro, I gotta go find somewhere to whiz and I'm gonna go back because I got work in a little bit. So I'm only gonna be here for a second.
Hey! Ho ho! Elon Musk has got to go!
Y'all, we owe the black community a huge apology.
Hello everyone, welcome once again to AfriPost. I hope wherever you're watching us from, you're having a great time. Now, we have seen the protests that was planned for 5th April going on in the United States successfully. And I think this time round, whites came out in numbers and they made a statement and their voice heard by the government. You know, Trump has been signing different executive orders here and there, and some of these executive orders have had direct impact on the lives of Americans. So they decided to come out and protest Trump and Elon Musk. And the way protest went on is quite interesting to see, because one thing that I noted out of the entire protest is the fact that, first of all, whites, when they marshal themselves together, they can always come and work together. Another thing that I realized is that even police was not sent in most of the protests that we saw. Ask yourself, if these people were black, would the government not send policemen to disrupt such kind of protests? Would there be clean streets as we saw it? I want you to watch the reaction of the entire protest that happened. Then we shall come back and share our thoughts together. Let's watch.
This is inspiring. So there are hundreds and thousands of Americans protesting Donald Trump and Elon Musk across the country. Let's go through some of these pictures because the crowds are massive. So here is Boston, Massachusetts. Here is Nashville, Tennessee. Here is Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Here is Providence, Rhode Island. Here is Madison, Wisconsin. Here is Salt Lake City, Utah. Here is Chicago, Illinois. Here is Lansing, Michigan. Here is the Minnesota State Capitol. And here is Louisville, Kentucky. And guys, this is not just happening in the places I showed you. It's happening in every state. And these are huge crowds of people spending their Saturday protesting the Trump administration. And it shows other countries across the world that there are a ton of us who are just as upset as they are about what Donald Trump and Elon Musk are doing to America and the rest of the world. I love these protests. Keep them going.
Breaking news from St. Joseph, Missouri, where behind me you can see there is a protest with over 100 people that are currently protesting Donald Trump and Elon Musk's takeover of the U.S. government. This is in conjunction with the Hands Off national protest. Over 1,000 cities signed up to participate in the Hands Off protest, with over 100 people in attendance. This is a huge protest, honestly, for St. Joe's standards. This is the Northwest Missouri kind of coalition. There are still more people continuing to show up, as you can see behind me. Well, maybe you can see, there they are. But this is a huge thing nationwide, and I think it's really important that we continue to raise our voices every opportunity we have. So you're probably seeing me do a lot more on-the-ground stuff than you've seen in the past. Normally I've been kind of remote, reporting from home, talking about legislation, but I really think community organizing and on-the-ground events are where we are going to make change. I encourage you to find whatever protests, town halls, or local actions you can involve yourself in, because this is where tangible change happens, and this is where you can organize to get to know the people in your community that are thinking like you and taking the actions that you think are important.
Okay, so I am out here right now at the Hands Off protest in Washington, D.C. at the Washington Memorial, and the turnout so far is incredible. It's only 12:22, and there are so many people out here showing out with their support, with their signs. I'm taking some photos right now, and I'll share those later, and I want to show you all the crowd. Like I said, it's 12:22. The speakers haven't started yet, but already the National Mall everywhere is absolutely packed. The turnout has been amazing.
This question is for anybody who is not an American. Anybody who is not in the United States. If you are in the United States and you want an answer to this question too, just a heart. Just give me a like. That way we know how many people want an answer to this. But do not comment if you are in the States. I want these comments reserved for anybody who is not an American, anybody who is not in the United States. Here's my question. What do you see? What do you see happening here? What is getting reported on about what is happening in the United States here? We need to know what you see, whether you're in Belgium or France or in Uganda or anywhere. I don't care if you're in China. Anywhere but the United States. What do you see getting reported about what's happening here? Please drop it in my comments. And then I would like to ask you a really important question. Since we here have decided to become 1930s Germany, who out there is going to become our 1940s America and save us from ourselves?
So people are out in the tens of thousands all over this country, and it's spreading across the world as well, protesting Trump and Musk and what they are doing in the U.S. government. As you can see, I'm currently in my house. So as somebody who regularly speaks up about why I disagree with Trump and his administration and the things that they are doing, I wanted to speak to why I am not out there at a protest today. First of all, the closest one that I could find to me, because the one in my own city was canceled because there was something else going on here this weekend, is about an hour away. And it happens to be later in the day, later afternoon, evening, and I have an obligation through my job that I have to be at tonight and cannot miss. I know that sounds like a cop-out, but it is just where I am. But since I cannot be physically at one of these protests today like I wanted to be, I will continue to use my platform here, however far it can reach, to talk about why what our administration is doing right now is so problematic. I will continue to use whatever voice and privilege I might have to speak out against the injustices I see happening to groups of people across our nation. I'm going to keep fighting the unjust and racist policies that are allowing our country, our government, to snatch up and disappear people just because they are not from this country. I will continue to fight back against ableist, racist, and xenophobic anti-DEI practices that ruin our education system, continue to harm minoritized populations, and will remove access to education, healthcare, housing, economic equality, and more for Black and brown individuals in our nation. Also anyone who is disabled. Also anyone who is an immigrant. Also the poorest of the poor. Also any person that comes from any type of minoritized or disadvantaged population, historically speaking. They will all be losing rights. The rich will continue to prosper. The 1% will continue to rule. The chasm between the ultra rich and the lower class will continue to widen. The middle class will continue to erode and disappear. And we are all headed for authoritarianism, dictatorship, and a terrible existence. And we are watching the downfall of our country. And if people don't speak up against it, we are in for real problems. So even though I might not be out there in the streets today like I had hoped to be, I am going to continue to post videos today that fight against us. Even though TikTok is wildly suppressing my videos, I will continue to fight. Because at least this is one place where I can spread a message. And they can't silence me totally. So, to everyone who is out there today, I'm so proud of you. Please stay safe, and thank you for what you're doing.
Good afternoon. Thank you as always for your kindness and for your insights. Actually, good morning, my friends. So we're coming to you live from the Hands Off National Day of Action here in St. Petersburg, Florida. There are going to be fellow citizens at 12 different intersections. Now, it's not supposed to start for 22 minutes, but you guys already understand it is on. My friends, take a look. This is just one intersection.
My body, my choice. My body, my choice.
Again, this doesn't start for 21 minutes. Carol is down there at another intersection. But guys, I sure hope that you take time to go to www.handsoff2025.com. There's a map feature. You can find a rally or protest that will be pretty close to you. So listen, to say we're making history is an understatement. We understand and appreciate that we are committed to always being kind and decent and fierce and credible, because we understand that the children are really always watching. We're their models. And what we're modeling today is a commitment to not only standing up for our democracy and standing up to Donald Trump and his assault on our rule of law, but most importantly, that we stand up to defend the fundamental principles and values of kindness and decency. I mean, meanness and cruelty have taken root in this country. We must stand up to all of it, my friends, and appreciate the fact that we are truly remaking America. James Baldwin will be so proud of us. So you guys be well. Let us know. Share pictures on social media of your protests where you are in the country. Because again, be incredibly proud of the history we're making together. You all take care. We're in this together, my friends.
Hey, y'all, look at this crowd. Everybody! Woo! 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 Donald Trump's gotta go! Guys, this is amazing. It goes all the way down and all the way up. Elon Musk has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Elon Musk has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Elon Musk has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Elon Musk has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Elon Musk has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. This is one of the most incredible experiences I ever had. The attendance is growing by the hour. This is amazing. Amazing to see how many people want to come out and fight for our democracy, to fight against the oligarchy, to fight against Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Dump Trump! Dump Trump! Dump Trump!
Today in D.C., thousands of people are flooding the streets, not out of anger, but out of love. Love for this country, love for our neighbors, love for a future we're terrified of losing. These protests, these hands-off rallies, aren't just politics. They're about people, about moms who can't get their kids health care, about workers who are tired of being used up and tossed aside, about everyday folks screaming into the wind, begging to be heard. We're watching billionaires play tug-of-war with our lives, and we are saying no, no more. No more silence while public services are gutted. No more pretending everything's fine while democracy crumbles at our feet. This is what it looks like when a nation fights back with heart. When we show up, not because we hate what's happening, but because we love what this country could still be. So today, we stand together, we march with hope, and we shout, hands off our future.
I'm here at the Hands Off protest in Florida, Pasco County. I expected to show up here and get maybe 10 people. I expected maybe 10 people. You need to see the scale of this. People are pissed. All the way down there and across the other intersection. This crosses 3 intersections on both sides of the street. People are pissed. We are done with oligarchs stealing our democracy.
So I'm sure by now everyone has come across the April 5th protests and just seeing how people are gathering in large amounts. I think they said like Florida, thousands of people came out. Multiple states throughout the area have all these people marching, as you can see. But one thing I want to make very clear, while we're at home resting, I don't see one police officer. And the whole vibe is like a little social gathering. Okay, it's like a little, we're mad, yay, unrest. And there's no police presence whatsoever. And these things are getting massive. They're fucking massive. And I want to make it very clear that this is being allowed with zero recourse. I'm willing to bet everything in what's left of my 401k at this point that if we were out there, and by we, I mean, there would be so much discourse with the police, with us, with people, and those good old boys would have been marching against us. I'm telling you, there is a whole other side of that protest that is waiting on Black people. And it's not just the police. It's those people who are diehard Trump fans and diehard racists. I kid you not. But what's so interesting to see is how no one gives a shit. No news for real. Like, they're saying something, but they're not out there interviewing people for real. And it's like, damn, y'all really are waiting on Black people. Like, y'all need us to help you, but we fucking can't. Because if we do, that's when those good old boys are going to be called and all that shit's going to be shut down. So y'all doing good. Go.
Y'all, we owe the Black community a huge apology. And there are like a million different reasons why we owe the Black community apologies. But there's a specific one that I want to address here. In the last election, if you looked at the demographics of voters, take a look at that. You will see that it was Black people who tried to save this country. They showed up, they voted because they knew exactly what Trump was. And we failed them. And we failed this country. Despite their most valiant effort, there was just too many MAGA voters who wanted a king to rule the United States. And now, on April 5th, there's going to be organized protests all around this country, the Hands Off movement, to protest Trump and Musk. And I've seen a lot of videos from Black TikTokers who the theme of we're sitting this one out. We're sitting this one out. And absolutely respectably, so why would anybody want to show up after trying to show up and being treated that way? Why? So now it's incumbent upon the rest of us to fucking show up this weekend. Look for your local protests, because some of you who voted for Trump, I promise you by now, you have also been victimized by Trump. So you voted the way you voted, you made this happen, but let's fucking band together and show up for the community that tried to support us, also for ourselves too. We have to look out for ourselves because these politicians are not looking out for us. So check your local, news outlets and look for where there are protests happening. There's one in Detroit this weekend. There's one in different cities in Metro Detroit. Show up. We have to protest this.
So that is just a snippet of some of the live recordings that happened during the protest. And I think they had their time and they spoke in a language that I think the government can easily understand. But we're waiting to see if these protests are going to achieve any positive thing for the American people, because it should not just go as an effort in futility. So the hands of protest swept across the United States, mobilizing millions in over 1,400 demonstrations spanning all 50 states in America. This massive wave of dissent, the largest since President Donald Trump's second term began, was driven by a deep-seated frustration with the administration's aggressive policies and the influential role of billionaire Elon Musk. The general motivation stemmed from a perceived hostile takeover of American democracy as citizens rallied against sweeping federal cuts, economic upheavals, and the erosion of rights. Protesters accused Trump and Musk, through the latter's Department of Government Efficiency, of dismantling critical services like Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, slashing federal jobs, and prioritizing tax breaks for the ultra-wealthy over the needs of working families. Beyond economics, the protests reflected outrage over immigration crackdowns, including mass deportations and visa revocations, as well as rollback on protections for marginalized groups, such as the LGBTQ community, and cuts to health and education programs. The movement united a broad coalition, veterans, unions, civil rights advocates, and everyday citizens under a singular cry: hands off our democracy, our freedoms, and our future. Notable observations from the protest underscored their scale and diversity. In Washington, D.C., the National Mall swelled with over 100,000 attendees, a sea of American and Ukrainian flags waving alongside signs demanding hands off our Social Security. And diversity makes America strong. Despite rainy weather, the turnout exceeded expectations, with cities like Raleigh reporting 45,000 participants against an anticipated 2,000. In Boston, thousands braved chilly temperatures. Some came dressed in historical figures like the Statue of Liberty, in chains symbolizing liberty under threat. New York's Middletown, Manhattan, saw an older demographic dominate, reflecting fears over shrinking retirement savings amid market volatility from Trump's tariffs. Across the South, from Atlanta to Houston, protests remained peaceful, though tensions flared briefly in Wisconsin when a Tesla driver was assaulted, highlighting anti-mask sentiment. Overseas, America's expatriates in Paris, London, and Berlin joined in solidarity, chanting "Hands off Canada" and "Hands off Ukraine," critiquing Trump's foreign policy shifts. Speakers, including Democratic lawmaker like Rep. Maxwell Frost, galvanized crowds with warnings of authoritarianism, while veterans like Colleen Boland framed their participation as a defense against democratic threats. The protest's sheer breadth and emotional intensity signaled a reinvigorated opposition determined to resist what they saw as an assault on American foundational values. So that is just a summary of the entire thing. So that is just a summary of it. But one thing I want to say is that I think the protests that happened were good. In one way, they helped the entire society know that protests are not only left for blacks. Even whites can come out and demand justice where necessary. And this issue where you find that sometimes blacks are being considered to be violent or there are people who are agitators, I think this should not be the case. Because if you look at how protesters behaved, whites behaved the same way even blacks behaved during protests. The only difference here is that the massive police deployment that always happens when blacks call for protests did not happen this time. And therefore, sometimes you find that people are not aggrieved or even angered by the presence of police around. So that is all from us today. Tell me down in the comment section what you think about this. And if you're watching us for the first time, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and also share. Thank you, and may the good Lord bless you. Goodbye.